Hi, I'm Benjamin Cleary, director of Stutterer, and you're watching Film News.
Director Benjamin Cleary, great to see you. All good today?
Great to see you, yeah, great.
Good stuff. Congratulations on Stutterer. It's been Oscar shortlisted. You find out tomorrow. How are you feeling?
A strange mix of kind of very nervous and very excited. Kind of can't really concentrating on anything today, but yeah, I mean, generally it's great. We're all excited and just can't wait for tomorrow, really.
Great stuff. Where did the inspiration, concept and the theme come from for the whole project?
Well, I actually saw something online about a gentleman who sort of had a bad stutter for many years, which he'd managed to sort of conquer when it came to face-to-face, sort of talking to people. But when he got onto the phone, he just found it really, really difficult. It was just his voice, sort of on show, if you will. And that sort of struck a bit of a chord with me. I started thinking about, what it must be like for someone sort of living, like that. And the character kind of quickly emerged from there. And then the idea of, that possibly they might sort of revert to talking on, online, communicating online.
Yeah.
And it just all sort of, developed organically from there, really,
Yeah, I mean, it's a personal tale of finding love in the modern world, universal human urge to communicate. I mean, what lies at the heart of the story for you?
Well, the modern sort of aspect and, having the internet involved is interesting for me because I sort of grew up without any internet till I was kind of like 16, 17, and then we suddenly had it, and it was slow and crappy, but we had it, and then we sort of, so I think I've got an interesting perspective in that way that, I saw what it was like without it, and then I saw what it was like with it. So I'm kind of fascinated about how it's changed our kind of communication, and how potentially it could offer a completely new avenue of communication for someone, who face-to-face doesn't, operate as they'd like to in a way, so I'm kind of fascinated by that, and I think that's one of the things at the heart of it, I think, is exploring that, and obviously it's romance in the digital age kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it has the feel of a full-length feature. Are there any plans, all going well, to develop it in that way? Not,
moving on from this, not actually anything linked to these characters or these situations, but I tend to, I love exploring the theme of communication. And the feature I'm developing at the moment is linked to communication again. So yeah, I would say thematically linked, but not necessarily anything recognisable moving on from Stutterer,
Yeah, I found it very moving. How did you want to make the audience feel?
Yeah, I mean, I was moved, in all my research, I really was, and I hope some of that's kind of come across into the film. And when you go and you watch it with an audience, and afterwards people come up and they sort of say, it really moved us, or it made me cry, or something, and that's really nice, and that's touching for me. And I suppose that's a measure of the how it's been doing. It's really nice. So yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, everyone takes their own thing, I think, from a film. It's very personal what you take from it, but if it moves people or affects them in some way, that's really nice.
I think it certainly will. I mean, as a director, did you have a clear vision of what the project was and how it had to be filmed?
Yeah, I think I did, actually. I mean, because I wrote the script, so I sort of, I think going through that process, and you're already kind of, in a way, editing, as you write, and you're thinking about, all the shots, and you're thinking about the characters, the subtext, and all that sort of stuff. So I think by the time it got to shooting, I had a pretty clear vision of how I wanted it to go, and, you leave yourself open for things that happen on set that might, be just spur of the moment, and they're amazing if they happen, but I think I was pretty clear with how I wanted it to unfold, and luckily I had great people around me to help make that happen, so that was good.
Yeah, great. And where was it filmed? I mean, it all looked very familiar.
Yeah, it was all in and around Hackney, where I was living at the time, around East London, actually. So yeah, it's kind of nice actually having that as a sort of something that, in years you'll look back and remember all the places where you lived and everything. So yeah.
Yeah. What were the biggest difficulties you encountered personally during the filming?
I suppose we did it on a really shoestring budget, for very little. So it was rushed, it was manic. We were, sort of shooting something in 3.5 days that probably wanted a week. And so I guess that was kind of the biggest challenge. But again, the team that we had, just everyone got stuck in. We stayed up and didn't sleep, and all that stuff. But I guess that was the biggest challenge. But in a way, I'm happy it was like that for my first one, because it prepares you for going on to whatever you're going to go on to. It won't be as hectic probably.
How did you select the cast?
Well, we got an amazing casting director on, Irene Cotton, actually, and she she put me in touch with Matthew Needham, and kind of within a couple of minutes of meeting him, he was just amazing. I knew he just had the look, he had the kind of physicality, and he completely got the script, and he was amazing. So that was great. And then Chloe Peary, I saw online, and we watched a film of hers, Shell. She's incredible in it, and luckily she agreed to do the film. And then Irene helped us with the rest of the cast. So yeah, it was really good. It was a great idea getting Irene on board early on to help us with that, you know.
What was the budget for the whole project?
Around £5,000 by the end. At the time we finished shooting. Now, since then, there's kind of been costs trickle in for festivals and stuff, which I've just been slowly sort of trickling into it. But £5,000, I suppose, was what we made that opening on.
Yeah. And if you had to sum up Stutterer in your own words, how would you sum it up?
The story, or the sort of I don't know, the feeling of it, or
everything.
Well, I suppose just, you know, I guess it's a story, a romance story in the modern digital age about you know, someone trying to find love, and God, that's a tough question. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's probably it.
Great stuff. And looking forward to the Oscars tomorrow. I mean, in general, what was your favourite film of the last year?
Room by Lenny Abramson. That was for me, that was amazing. I saw it in Savannah when we were over there, and American audiences are amazing because it's hard on the sleeve stuff. The whole cinema was kind of crying, and then, you know, it was an amazing, uplifting, beautiful film, I thought. Yeah.
Great stuff. And
I hope
forward,
it does well.
Any other projects that you're working on that you'd like to tell us about?
Yeah, well, I've just done a short film with a friend of mine that we're kind of editing at the moment, trying to get funding for another short that I wanted to make for ages, and then developing a feature. So that's just kind of, the ball's just kind of started rolling with that. So yeah, hopefully a lot of that will kind of go ahead in 2016.
Excellent. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Anything else to say to Film News watchers?
Not really. I don't know. Fingers crossed for tomorrow.
Good stuff. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you.